Hello, everyone. I am Matt Williamson, and things are happening left and right around the league. So hopefully this isn't too outdated when you listen to it Friday morning. I'm recording it very late in the day, Thursday. I usually do 5 podcasts a week for DK. If and when something big happens, I'll immediately react. But I don't plan on recording one tomorrow. Very subject to change because the league is hopping right now. Let's start with the Steelers news of the day. Is they restructured Cole Holcomb's contract, and it frees up $4 million in cap space for the Steelers. I love this move. I think it makes a lot of sense for Holcomb in that he hasn't played football in 20 months. So for him to go test the market now probably isn't going to go great for him in a different system, et cetera, et cetera. No one's going to look at him as a starter at this point. But so he takes the bird in the hand, comes back here. Good. I think he's a good player. I think he's a starting caliber linebacker. I think he's been somebody originally, when I looked at the Steeler cap stuff, I thought, man, Holcomb's going to get cut. You have to cut him at that number. And, oh, well, this is a tough business. Poor guy. He got hurt at the wrong time. But now you get him back at a minimum cap number. And, I mean, if he's terrible, which I don't think he will, you can cut him, won't hurt you at all. You could cut him in training camp, wouldn't be a problem. You could trade him in training camp, it wouldn't be a problem. He's going to get a ton of preseason snaps, I'm sure, preseason game snaps. Maybe somebody wants him that has a linebacker injury. Maybe you have a linebacker injury and he steps into the starting spot. Who knows? I just want him around, and I'm glad that they got it at such a cost-effective number. And, oh, by the way, they still opened up a lot of cap space. I mean, $4 million. They have a lot to spend. They can be very, very active. Now, I don't know if everyone's aware of this. They're probably like, well, what's the injury going on? He's healthy. He's 100%. I mean, he was practicing with the team, full go, pads, ready to rock at the very end of the season. I mean, if by chance in week 18, Queen would have got hurt last year, Holcomb would have been your starting linebacker in Baltimore for the playoff game. So he's ready to go. So I love that they didn't just, he just doesn't disappear. I don't know what his special teams background is, but I'm certain he did it early in his career. And I think he's ready to rock. I mean, and I'm sure a lot of you are saying, well, what's this do to a Landon Roberts? And I've told you guys many times, the two Steeler UFAs that I absolutely want to bring back are Roberts and Herbig to shore up the interior offensive line. And I don't think either would be difficult. I think both very much want to be here. And this doesn't change my opinion on re-signing Roberts at all. It's some insurance that if a deal can't get worked out, oh, well, you now have 3 quality off-the-ball linebackers and see what Mark Robinson is, who's a core special teamer. I mean, at least Robinson's going to be in camp But I would still offer Roberts the exact same contract. Again, it's not like you've got a fortune tied up in Holcomb. I mean, he's playing at a very low rate, not much of a cap hit. And I'll take 4 linebackers, and just have depth there and a rotation. And what if injuries hit? You're not calling Michael Walker off the couch or Miles Jack. Remember that not that long ago? So I think this is a great situation for a high quality player, a good starter in Holcomb. That's not even a starter for you. I mean, I think there's a real good chance your linebacker 4 deep is going to be Holcomb, Roberts, Wilson, Queen. Cool by me. I'm in on that. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. With the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to the NHL and UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Okay, some other news, and I'll try to keep on top of these every day, is we are now in the portion of the draft season where prospects will be visiting the Steelers. And they had 3 guys in today. JJ Pegas, he's a nose tackle from Mississippi. Fits the Steelers mold exactly. I mean, he's got kind of a fun highlight tape. You'll see him as a goal line back, as a goal line fullback, really athletic. He's the type of guy, I don't know that I've mentioned his names with you, but I have told you many times that, boy, there's 8 nose tackle types that I would love to have in a Steeler uniform, and he's one of them. He might not be my first pick, but I'm talking 4th round, 3rd round, in that neighborhood. Maybe it'd even fall to the 5th. He would fit the bill really well and has a lot of upside. So I love seeing that as one of their visits. Perfect. They're on the same page as me. I didn't see this one coming, and I have to look into it more, but there is a rule that if you're within X miles of the organization you're visiting, it doesn't count against you. And Zach Frazier, for example, didn't count against the Steelers' visits. Most of the Pitt guys they bring in don't count against their visits. And I bring up Frazier because they were college teammates last year. Wyatt Milam from West Virginia. He's a tackle, or is he best at guard? But he's probably a day 2 pick. So if he does count against your visits, I don't want to say it's a waste, but he wouldn't have been one of my choices. It's a curious decision because I don't think they're going to invest that high a pick in an offensive lineman. But he is nasty, and he fits their demeanor. You know, the Zach Frazier connection. They've been studying this offensive line for 2 years plus, of course. Maybe he could be a tackle, a swing tackle for you, but I didn't see that one coming. But if he's a freebie, great. And now I get excited. Tyler Shuck, my favorite quarterback in this draft that could potentially be a Steeler. I've told you guys a million times, I would trade the Steelers' 2nd round pick this second for him, and maybe more. I think this guy projects as a starter. I think you know who he is by now. Louisville. He's older. He's got 4 degrees. He has 3 injuries. You know, all broken bones. He's 25 right now. He's going to be 26. But he came to Oregon originally to be the next Justin Herbert. And that's the type of athlete specimen he is. He looks like an NFL starter to me. And they're not going to get Cam Ward. Shuck is my number 2 quarterback in this class, including Deion Sanders' kid. I am very intrigued with him. I love that he is day 1 of their visits. Not that it would make any difference, but they must feel somewhat similar that I do. I mean, so that's good to hear. That's exactly what I wanted. He's my draft crush, and I think I don't need to go much more into it. If you've been listening to me, I bring him up, it feels like, every one of these podcasts. 2 other things I want to discuss. DK Metcalf is officially allowed to go broker his own trade. That's the way this works nowadays. I would have some interest. Seattle has pretty publicly said they want a 1st rounder plus. They're not going to get that. I think he would cost you the Steelers' 2nd rounder. Give or take. I mean, maybe a little something sprinkled in. Maybe you could get a little back. I don't know. And I'd be interested. That's a pretty premium pick. You know, that's your starting running back. I mean, something that's Judkins or somebody like that. That could be a big-time defensive line prospect. You know, Alexander out of Toledo, a real strong corner prospect. Now, DK Metcalf's a really good player. But he's going to want a contract extension at some point. The contract's not terrible this year. The contract part doesn't worry me. The Steelers can absolutely eat that, and Seattle already paid his bonus. Now, if I knew Russell Wilson was the quarterback, which I think it will be Fields, there's still going to be a deep ball element to the Steelers no matter what. And it's not only the thing Metcalf can do, but obviously him and Wilson were together in Seattle and did good things together. But that's not going to change my tune if I'm interested in Metcalf or not. But just to put it out there, this guy's pretty volatile. I mean, he gets a lot of penalties. He gets emotional. And you mix that with Pickens, I mean, yikes. That is throwing gallons of gasoline on a fire. You know, I mean, that could be a really volatile, crazy connection. However, if they believe that they're going to trade Pickens, I think I would be more apt than to be in the Metcalf world. You know, Pickens goes out, draft picks come in, Metcalf comes in, draft picks go out. Maybe you make a little on the draft pick exchange. I don't think it'd be pretty close to a wash. I can't quite wrap my head around who's worth more on the open market right now, Pickens or Metcalf. Pickens is younger. Or, hey, Coach Tomlin, deal with these two big personalities and have a really dangerous passing attack. I mean, let's not be lost on that. I mean, that is a unique and extremely talented pairing, Metcalf and Pickens. And then you'd probably be done. You know, you're not looking at any more receiver help at that point. So I know a lot of people have asked me about him, and I do think it's something you have to consider. Last thing I want to discuss too, this has been known for about a month, but the Niners are going to release Javon Hargrave, former Steeler, as you know. And I think there's a misconception with some of you listening, maybe, that Hargrave's a nose and, you know, that's all he is. Not really. I mean, he's really a 4-man front, upfield, 3 technique, whose lower body looks like a nose tackle. And yes, he was a nose tackle here. But the defense has changed. To me, the most similar comp for recent Steelers is Ogunjobi. I mean, and I still think there's a legit chance Ogunjobi gets cut. It would save you a nice chunk of cash. And if I could swap those two out, I'd do that in a heartbeat. I mean, no question in my mind. I would have interest either way, but he would be your Ogunjobi role and then still draft the dude on top of that, maybe even in the first round on the D-line. Maybe he's not quite what he used to be when the Eagles gave him a massive contract when he left Pittsburgh, but he's disruptive and I still think, a well above average starter, no matter what role you use him in. And those smaller 3 techniques, shorter, not small, he's not small, are very much a Steeler thing now. It's not like you have to look like Aaron Smith or Kiesel or your Hampton. You know, I mean, they can use these Ogunjobi body types, the Hargrave types, and he fits this scheme better than the one he was drafted into, to be honest with you. So that's a name that's out there that's familiar with you guys that I absolutely would have interest in. And you could afford to keep him and Ogunjobi. And maybe you would do that for a while if you signed Hargrave today and then release Ogunjobi when you have to, or don't if the draft doesn't go your way. But I think that if you make that move, Ogunjobi leaves, which I think probably happens either way, especially with his injury history, and Hargrave replaces him as an upgrade, really. So some interesting stuff. I bet there's a lot of news. I bet I record something for you guys over the weekend just because things are hopping right now. All right, take care.